It is Wednesday night. Thanks for joining or rewatching. Always good to have a touch base in the middle of the week. Those of you who are part of Brokerage just came off Father's Day. Well, I guess every church celebrated Father's Day, but we in particular celebrated God as the best father, celebrated our dads and our families. This week, we go into our new series, Summer in the Psalms, this upcoming Sunday, and we're not too far away from having our own guest youth intern, Sam Aiken, speak for us on Sunday. So we're excited about that. It won't be this Sunday. It will be not the next Sunday. It'll be the Sunday after that. So something to look forward to. All right. We're going to jump back into Proverbs. Talked about a lot. Talked about wisdom. Talked about folly. We've talked about money. And we are going to hit hard for the next couple of weeks. Our words. So buckle your seatbelts. Let's do this. You and I have something of great value, of greater worth, more power than thousands of dollars, millions even. What is that thing? Our mouths, our ability to speak, to communicate, your ability to put something out there to us that we can receive has incredible power. And the book of Proverbs will say in chapter 18 that death and life are in the power of the tongue. Your mouth can speak life or speak death. That's just a fact. To illustrate this, I could have just gathered up a bunch of quotes, like maybe some powerful things that world leaders have said over the years, speeches that have dominated society. I could have pulled tweets from celebrities, like really dumb things they've said or posted, and we could all go, wow, that was incredible, or how foolish was that? Or think of all the heartbreak that they brought into their life. Or I could have used illustrations about sports broadcasters who made offhand racist remarks and got fired. I could do that. But I don't know if it would help us because it might seem very removed from our particular situations. We'd just laugh at them and say, oh, those silly celebrities or silly politicians. And we might just mock them, but it really doesn't touch down on us because we probably aren't going to utter one big statement that just upsets the nation and sets the internet ablaze. So I thought, instead, we would just throw up on the screen a few of your Facebook feeds. I don't need Hollywood. I don't need Washington, D.C. I just need our Brokerage friends and family. And we'll get a bunch of things that you said. We'll just put them up here and we'll decide what's wise and what's foolish. Remember, we used to do lists on Wednesday night? This will be our new list. I'm just kidding. I decided I don't want to do this, but maybe you were a little nervous. You're like, I have an emergency. I need to check my Facebook feed immediately. I chose not to do this for one reason, because any given statement you make online or to a friend, one statement is not generally going to determine the course of your life. Like, I had a bad day, I was tired. You have to understand the context. Whatever the case, you can usually dismiss one statement. So the problem with these illustrations is it's like dropping $100 in one moment. Bam, big change. And for most of us, when we say things, our life doesn't work that way. It's like, man, I said that one sentence and sentence that guy to death, like, be gone. We're not judges, most of us. Or I said that one thing and I saved his life. He was dying and I said, don't do that. And now he's living. For most of us, it doesn't work that way. But what we're doing, so we're not dropping $100 bills all over the place, but we're dropping ones and we're going to stack them up over time. And for most of us, it's not one big statement that's going to make or break your life or somebody else's or your community. But over the course of a couple of years, you'll get a stack growing of hundreds of thousands of millions of statements and phrases, words said, conversations started, conversations turned a different direction than maybe you wanted it to turn, ways you talked about this person, the way you talk about the day, what you say when you walk into your circle of friends. All those things build up and add up into a life. And my question is, when we aggregate or we combine what you bring to us, when we take all the words you stack up, where do we end up? Are you somebody who's speaking life and you've breathed life into us? Or are you somebody who's spoken death and you've sucked life away from us? What's it going to be, Russ? It's not that big of a deal. Oh, yes, words have power. That's not up for debate. Words have power. And when you use that power, it will create something. It will. You can use words to encourage somebody or to break them down. Proverbs 16 says, gracious words are like an honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body. You can be somebody who encourages people. And when we get around you, it's like whenever I have a bad day and I get around her, she just bends my perspective in a different direction. I feel better about myself when I'm around that person. At the end of the day, when I hang out with them, I'm better. Or Proverbs 12, rash words are like the thrust of a sword. I like him. He's my best friend, but over days and weeks, every conversation is just ripping on each other. And I'm just exhausted. And I just don't really want to share anymore or hang anymore because every time I leave there, I feel discouraged and unsafe. Where does the aggregate go for you? Your words are either going to build up the community or tear it down. Proverbs 11, by the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted. Proverbs 29, scoffers set a city ablaze. You see that in the church world. Nobody goes out to plant a dead church. You ever thought about that? There's churches on nearly every street corner in America. And a lot of them honestly have no life in them, but they didn't start that way. Nobody says, hey, we're going to start this super boring dead church that doesn't really display the power of God. Anybody else want to join? That's not how they start. They start alive and preaching the word of God and helping people. But what happens? What happens is you get a group of people that when something goes wrong, they start saying, can you believe that? I don't really like the worship leader. I don't like that person. I don't think the sermon was very good. I wanted to volunteer for that, but she's doing it. Why does she always do that? I don't know if I like this music style. I prefer that style. That combo of gossip and slander and bickering kills churches every day. And our country is filled with dead churches, not because one guy said something like, die, church, and it broke, but because a bunch of people said, oh, that was no big deal. We were just talking. Well, the aggregate was, you sunk it. You sunk it. It'll destroy your life. Words can do that. Other people, whole communities, and your own life. Proverbs 18 says, a fool's lip walk into a fight. His mouth invites a beating. For some of you, that's quite literal. You got punched in the face one time, and afterwards you were like, I kind of deserve that. Others of you just keep running into roadblocks in life, and you're like, what's wrong? Well, maybe the way you talk to people is getting you beaten up, right? Your words will affect your life. The right words will win you a job. The wrong words will lose you a job. The right words can get you a date. Bad words can get her to exit the car and never come back. So what you say is going to bless other people, whole communities, and you, or it's going to discourage people, destroy communities, and sink you. What will it be? You're going to land in one of those things. You can't just say, it's no big deal. I'm just saying. It is a big deal. Maybe not that sentence, maybe not that one, but when you stack them up, they'll add to something, and you'll be a source of life, or you will not. We see it on sports teams, right? What happens when somebody gets on a team that's just constantly negative? They're not in there saying, hey, let's overthrow the coach. But maybe they're like, man, I don't really feel like practicing today. Practice? This is lame. I don't want to run. Does anybody else think this is dumb? I hate the way we do this. I just want to leave. We're never going to win. We're not any good. If these guys got their part right, we get ours right. And what do? They sink the culture. You're never going to have a winning team with negativity. I don't care how much talent you have, but you bring some positive energy where you're encouraging each other, you're building each other up. You're saying, we got this. You come into practice ready to go, and you could take a team with less talent, but more positivity and get some wins. You could change things. So I'm asking to reflect on yourself when you wake up in the morning and start talking to your family, when you gather around your group of friends and you start speaking, when you get online and start posting, when you put words out there, what are you pouring into the system? Are you giving us little sips of vitamins and protein, things that build us up? Or is hanging out with you just a little sip of poison every day? What is it? Be honest with yourself, because it's one or the other. You hear stories over the years about high school kids that tweet compromising pictures of these girls that have put themselves in bad situations. They send the images all over the school and they make fun of them. They use social media to mock them, whisper about them, slander them. And in several cases, it's ended up with a girl either killing herself or trying to kill herself. In one case, a high schooler got busted and he's going to jail for what he and his friends did to this girl's life. And as he stands there being sentenced, he just starts weeping, sobbing. And at that point, he looks like a kid. And he just keeps saying, I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to do this. You know what? I believe you. I absolutely believe you did not mean for that result to happen, to hurt that girl and ruin her life. I believe you didn't want that result, but I don't think you're innocent. You did things that led there. You just didn't want your choices to lead to those consequences. That's what you didn't want. which in the book of Proverbs is the definition of a fool. A fool makes choices, but says, I just don't want to get the consequence. They try to deny reality. That's foolish. Bro, you were doing things that were going to lead there. That's how it works. Like guys that say, I didn't mean to get my girlfriend pregnant. Were you sleeping with her? Yes. Well, you do know the mechanics of that, right? Do we need to have this discussion? Because it leads there. Oh, you wanted reality to bend around you? That's like me mixing up like flour and eggs and butter and some sugar and putting it in the oven and saying, oh, I didn't want to make a cake. Well, that's what you were doing. Those steps lead you there. The kid says, I didn't want to ruin her life. Well, you were making fun of her, talking badly about her behind her back, using social media to harass her. If I was writing a book on how to hurt feelings, those would be the chapter headings. So yeah, I know you're sad about the results, but that was foolish because choices lead to consequences. Your deeds lead to a destiny, and wisdom and folly are paths, and your little steps are going someplace. If you're somebody who likes to harass people or pick on people, talk bad about people behind their back, make fun of random people, you're always negative, you're walking towards death. You're like, well, I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to hurt people. Well, maybe you're not trying to, but look at where your steps are leading you. That's wisdom, that you understand deeds lead to a destiny. They always do. Where are you taking us? What are you putting into the system? What we need are wise words, because wise words are words of healing and words of life. They're words that can build up a community. They're words that honor God, and they're words that bless you. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. If you can get a hold of your tongue, you can be blessed by what you bring forth from it. That's wisdom, but we need wisdom. All right, what's wise speech? What's wise communication? Basically, wise communication is this: the right message at the right time in the right way. I'm going to be somebody who speaks wisdom and speaks life, a wise communicator. I'm saying the right things at the right time in the right way. What does that look like? Well, the right things over and over again in the book of Proverbs says the right words are truth. Wisdom speaks herself in chapter 8 and says, my mouth will utter truth. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are righteous. There's nothing twisted or crooked in them. Wisdom always speaks the truth. Proverbs 24, whoever gives an honest answer kisses the lips. The right words are honesty and truth. Why is that? Because here's the deal. When you give someone the truth, you give them the ability to deal with reality, and that's a gift. Chapter 16 says, righteous lips are a delight to the king. He loves him who speaks what is right. Why is it talking about a king? Because kings are decision makers. They have to make decisions. And what they value more than anything is having people around them who will speak the truth to them. Because when you speak the truth to me, I can make decisions that will actually work and benefit reality. If you hold truth away from me or you distort it, I can't make informed decisions. So you ultimately hurt me. We all know the good friend is the one who will look at you and say, hey, man, you get something in your teeth and it's weird. You got to deal with that. That's a good friend. He's showing you reality. That's happening right now, and you can fix it. And now I've been empowered to not look like a goofball the rest of the day. Like, it's empowering to receive truth. And although it hurts to hear sometimes, you should value those kind of people in your life because they're giving you the ability to do something about it and change. Proverbs 28 says, whoever rebukes a man afterwards finds more favor than he who flatters with his tongue. Chapter 27 says, better is an open rebuke than hidden love. Faithful are the words of a friend. Profuse are the kisses of an enemy. A good friend tells the truth about yourself, even if it's hard. They love you enough to step into an awkward conversation, and lying to people gets the strongest condemnation possible in Proverbs chapter 12. Lying lips are an abomination to God. Proverbs 6 says God hates lying lips. If you lie to people, the Bible says God hates that. Why? Because God loves truth. And if you're holding truth away from people, you could say whatever you want about it. Well, I didn't want to bother them. I didn't want to stress them out. It was just easier to do it this way. But what you're doing is you're keeping them in the dark and not giving them the ability to respond to what is. It's not fair. It's not right. You wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want somebody to just flatter you and lie to you, make you think you're better than you are or smarter than you are, okay when you're not okay. You want the truth. And the truth is, chapter 10 says, the one who conceals hatred has lying lips. If you have a habit of lying to people, bending the truth, distorting stories, Proverbs says the reason you do that is because you have hatred in your heart. Well, it's really strong language. Well, why do you bend the truth? Why do you lie? It's so you can come out of the conversation better, looking better, sounding better. And you're willing to disadvantage that person to keep them in the dark in order to make you feel comfortable or make things not awkward for you. So you love you and not them. And the Bible has a word for that. Hatred, that you care more about you than them. And God hates that and the Bible hates that. So the reality is, you got to look at yourself and say, what am I doing? Am I a deceptive person or am I honest? Because the right words are honest. But that's not the end of wisdom, right? Jesus was the balance of grace and truth. So it's not just about being honest. Like you're like, oh yeah, it's about time for some honesty in here. It's not just speaking the truth. It's right. You speak the right words, the right time, and in the right way. So we'll handle the right time and the right way next week. But let's be people who walk into a room and speak life. Let's be people in our relationships who speak hope and grace and wisdom. We can be honest, but we can be truthful with grace as well. And again, I'll talk about that more next week. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Read up on Psalm 8 for this Sunday, those of you who are tracking with Brookridge, and we will talk to you all soon.